right, y'all, let's remix this story right here. Let me just tell you what really went down. All right, y'all, this is James from the I'm Free Project, and subscribe, share, and like this video today. And I wanted to continue to delve into my private life because I think that's something that you guys appreciated and you liked on the last video, that I was being real and just talking about some real stuff that has happened as a married man. And so I wanted to go ahead and share a little bit more about more of my life. And again, these new sets of videos, a few of them, I'm going to get some of the ratchet stuff as well. But for right now, I also want to be able to talk to my brothers and my sisters out there that may be struggling and striving and trying to get this game right and trying to get this moving and going forward in God. So now, when I was in my 20s and I was coming out of the homosexual lifestyle, and later on after I started making that transition, and I started walking a little closer with God, and I think a lot of people are going to identify with this, and this is really why I wanted to talk about it. But as I was walking with God and I'm spending some great time with the Lord and making some decisions and making some strides and going forward and being able to do the right thing, I realized, and what I saw, and I'm doing a lot of talking with my hands. No, but what I realized and what I saw was that I ended up having to walk a painful walk of having to be alone. And I hear that a lot with a lot of guys whom I've spoken to over the years, and not understanding when, what, where, when things are going to happen, when things are going to change, and who are they going to talk to, and how they're going to have connections with people and have relationships with people and so forth. And I know that for me, I remember when I started on this journey and God was talking to me, I was having a good time with God, but then the enemy attacked me so hard with this overwhelming sense of loneliness. I mean, a very strong sense of loneliness, in the sense that I really just wanted to stay at home a lot and I really didn't want to do anything. I guess to describe it in a sense is that in being around people, you didn't want to disturb what God was doing within your heart and within your spirit. So you didn't want to be around a lot of foolishness, a lot of entertainment, a lot of things that could get you off track. But at the same time, in the flesh, you desired to be around people. So in order to make the move forward, you had to walk alone. And it became very painful in the sense that because you want, in our flesh, we always want to be around people. In our flesh, we always want that relationship. In our flesh, we want to build those relationships that bring us joy, that make us feel comfortable, where people accept us for who we are, and people to understand our plight and what we're going through. But what I will say with a lot of people that I've talked to over the years is that being alone is a very, very strong emotional fear, almost, that they have, this emotional stronghold that they have, and it keeps them from wanting to let go of what has become familiar. And that's a sad part, and that's where the enemy traps a lot of people, and that they don't want to be alone. Because in walking with God, there's going to be a season where you are going to be alone. You are going to be by yourself. You are going to have to understand that you can't always lean on the flesh to get you through. You can't always lean on people. And sometimes God will set it up to the point to where you really have no choice. You really have no choice but to lean on him. And you don't have a lot of people to call. People aren't picking up the phone. People aren't answering their emails. They're not showing up at the functions that you offer them to, or you say, let's go to the movies or something. They don't show up. And so then you don't want to go by yourself. I recall myself, I would go to the movies, and this is a place that I had to get to. I would go to the movies every Tuesday at the Regal Theater over there at Atlantic Station. Every Tuesday, I would go over there, go to the movies, and that was, I guess, my treat. And I had to get used to doing that by myself. And after a while, it became almost like a normal thing to do for me. But for a long time, that I had to work up to doing that by myself, and it hurt. I mean, the truth of the matter is, it hurts. No one wants to be alone. And I can recall that there was one guy who I knew that, I was trying to help him get on his path and his journey. And the problem with him, one of the biggest problems with him, is that he did not like being by himself. He did not like being alone. And I would tell them all the time is that you've got to get to that place where you are comfortable with being with just you and God. You've got to be in that place where you, as a leader, as a warrior, that you are able to stand alone in battle if you have to. And so you can't fear the fact that you're having to let go of the past and move forward, but you're having to move forward by yourself. Hey, y'all, let's remix this story right here. Let me just tell you what really went down. So I had this kid, right, who wanted to come out of the lifestyle. He was really wanting to move forward in God. He was really wanting to go forward and really grab hold of the things of God for his life and leave that lifestyle alone. Young kid in college and was either about to graduate college or he had just graduated and was really trying and working on his master's degree and all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, I'm trying to be a good brother in the Lord and help the young man to go forward and move forward and get this thing going the way it should be going. So now, here's what happened. This kid was so gripped and bound by the fear of being alone that he could not move forward. Every single time we talked on the phone, it's about, I don't want to be alone. I'm afraid to be by myself. I don't like going to the movies by myself. I don't like going to get any food by myself. I want to go do this. I want to go do that, but I need a group of people to do it with. Man, let me tell you something. In order for you to fly like an eagle, you're going to have to be able to fly by yourself, because chickens run in the crowd and they all end up at Chick-fil-A sooner or later. But an eagle is a protected bird and can't mess with eagles. So therefore, either you're going to be an eagle or you're going to be running around with the chicken. So you have to make that decision. And so I used to try to tell that man, look, dude, you have got to make a decision and let the whole idea of people go. I mean, it's great to be around people and it's great to walk with people and help a lot of people in your life. But there's a season with God that you're going to have to walk alone. Jesus did it. Some of the disciples did it. But you are going to have to walk alone and get used to that. Because in that alone season, God is going to purge and talk to you and tell you about you and how to become more like him. And so in that time, you've got to get used to that. And if you can't get used to that, then that means that you are still bound to the flesh, in the sense that you have to have people in your life just to get you through, and you are not leaning on the full presence of God. And now I know that may sound harsh, but I'm telling you, that's what I had to walk through, and I hated it, but I knew that it was necessary in order for me to be able to stand strong as a king, as a man of God. Because a real true man or woman of God is going to know that they can be alone, face that time of loneliness, and understand that no matter what, Jesus Christ is with them. And so what happened with the young man is that he ended up going back into that lifestyle. I saw him on Facebook or something like that, and I said, let me reach out to him. And so it so happened his number hadn't changed. I reached out to him. We got together one day at the Arby's one time, and I sat down with him. I said, dude, what's going on? What you been up to, and this and that? Got his career going, got all that going, but failed to walk with God, and he's back in that lifestyle. He said he just couldn't deal with being alone. He just couldn't deal with that, with having to walk this by himself. He just couldn't deal with the idea of having to walk with God all the time without people around him and not being able to be in a relationship. So relationship bound that you'll rather walk in sin than walk in holiness and be with God by yourself and let God meet your needs, both spiritually and emotionally, and then allow him to bring somebody in your life that is suited for you of the opposite gender, so that you are met physically as a husband or a wife. So, I mean, man, this stuff is real. So y'all better get over that trying to be that being alone thing, because there's going to be seasons in your life when you have to walk alone, and it's just a part of the maturing process sometimes. For some people, it is a part of the maturing process. Now, back to your regular programming. Understand that, number one, you're not alone, because Jesus said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. But at the same time, you have to understand that it may not feel like God is there, but he's always there. So the thing that I want to tell people, the guys and girls out there, the men and women out there, is that don't be afraid to be alone. Don't be afraid that as you're on this journey that you can walk with God by yourself. And understand that, number one, people are not always going to be there to help you out, and that your 100% dependency has to come from God. And what God will do is use people in certain times of your life to get you to that next place. But at the end of the day, you have to sit there and say, God, this is me and you, and I'm ready to walk. And if I have to do it alone, then so be it. Because at the end of the day, guys, don't really get caught up in that I've got to have somebody around. I've got to have some friends. I've got to be with all these people. Because no, you don't. Because when God is trying to pull you to a place, he's going to make it so that you have to be alone, that you have to be by yourself. And when you get there, he's going to show you and talk to you and show you and then pour it into you so that you can come out strong and be that pure gold that he's looking to put up on that mantle. All right? So anyway, this is James from Now Free Project. Remember, as always, Jesus Christ is Lord. Peace.